Hey guys, how you going? This is BillyEatWorld, and today we're going to take a look at something different. We're going to take a look at my top 5 World War II games of all time. The reason I thought I'd make this video is because World War II has always been a popular theme in gaming, and so many of the great games that I grew up with as a kid were based on this era. There's way too many great World War II games to include them all on this list, but the games I did include I think are the ones I've enjoyed the most. Just remember though that this is only my opinion, so if you have a different top 5, feel free to leave it in the comment section below, because I'd love to take a look. But anyway, to kick off, coming in at number 5 is Wolfenstein 3D. Before Battlefield, before Call of Duty, and before pretty much everything else for that matter, there was Wolfenstein 3D, the game that started it all. Back in 1993, first-person shooter games were in their infancy, and Wolf 3D was the first breakout hit in the genre, and the first FPS game most people got their hands on. The game was fairly basic by today's standards, but at the time it was cutting edge, and it's still surprisingly fun to play today on a whole range of different platforms. Its developer, id Software, would later go on to even greater success with the Doom and Quake franchises, but Wolf 3D for me will always be their crowning achievement. So coming in at number 4 is Call of Duty 5 World at War. Back in 1999, the brainchild of Steven Spielberg, Medal of Honor, released on the PS1 and was a huge success in the wake of his Oscar-winning movie, Saving Private Ryan. The World War II genre was fast becoming an FPS staple, and a few years later, in 2003, the Call of Duty series was born, following a very similar format. Call of Duty quickly gained a reputation for its exceptional multiplayer, and each game in the series improved on the last, culminating in 2008 with World at War. With FPS games trending towards a modern theme though, World at War would be the last World War II game in the series and the end of the theme which had dominated FPS games for the previous decade. Now, coming in next at number 3 is War Thunder. This free-to-play simulator is like a combination of IL-2 Sturmovik and World of Tanks, allowing you to dogfight in the air with planes or on the ground with tanks. After over 2 years, War Thunder's online player base is still going strong, and the game is now available on PC, Mac and the PlayStation 4. Unlike many online multiplayer games though, the tier-based matchmaking and customizable realism makes it easy for new players and veterans alike to jump straight in. The only reason it's not higher on this list is because the free-to-play model makes progress painfully slow, but apart from this, all in all, it's an amazing game. So coming in next at number 2 is Battlefield 1942. How could this list ever be complete without this game, considering it was the game that kicked off the franchise and wrote the book on how large-scale FPS games should be made? BF 1942 had many similar elements to games like Medal of Honor and Call of Duty, but it was set on a much larger scale and it gave you the ability to pilot vehicles. The graphics of BF 1942 have dated considerably since it released in 2002, but it's still fun to play and any veteran of later Battlefield games should be able to jump straight in. The only problem with this game in 2015 though, is that it lost a bit of its charm when its multiplayer servers were taken down, and now you can only play against bots. Now, just before we get on to the number 1 game on this list, I should give an honourable mention to Medal of Honor Frontline, which was the first game I ever played in that series. The game literally starts with the D-Day landing, so of all the games in the franchise, it's probably the game that echoes Saving Private Ryan the most. I also should give an honourable mention to the Close Combat series, which were top-down real-time strategy games made by Microsoft in the late 90s. These games are still coming out today in more or less their original style, which just goes to show how good these games were and still are. And finally, coming in at number 1 is Company of Heroes 2. This is a game that I've been getting addicted to over the last few months because not only is it a real-time strategy game set in a World War II theme, it's not based around collecting resources. It also has a fairly small population cap, so for this reason I like to describe Company of Heroes as an RTS game for people who don't really like RTS games. Rather than mining a bunch of resources to create a huge army, this game is more about capturing objectives and smaller tactical battles. Mechanics like true sight, cover and even vehicle orientation can make a big difference to the outcome of a battle, which is a far cry from what we've come to expect from the staples in the genre, like StarCraft. But anyway guys, that just about wraps up this top 5. So let me know what your top 5 World War II games are in the comment section below. And as always, if you like what you see, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Also, check out the links in the description below if you want to see more of my videos, or if you'd like to support my channel on Patreon. And until next time, see you later, and have a good one.